and welcome to DDG.
Declan Dad Gaming.
I'm your dad.
I'm Declan.
And we're here to do what?
Okay, so today we're going to be reviewing and benchmarking games on the GTX 1060 6GB, made by, the Asus Strix edition.
It's not currently in the rig at the moment, but we have pulled it out. We've put it in there, we've done all the tests and all that kind of thing, so I'll show you some footage of removing it and all that kind of thing. I'm sure that's really entertaining, as well as a couple of pictures. I'll probably bring them on the screen right now. I bought it brand new for $499. That was back in May 2018. We had a look online, just on Gumtree. That's an Australian thing. I don't know, like what do they call it?
Gumtree.
Gumtree, second-hand goods. And how much did we find it for? $250. So you can pick them up second-hand for $250. I've inputted that information into our benchmarks, so you can look at the price per frame for second-hand and brand new.
Here come the benchmarks. Get ready.
Okay, we're starting with Far Cry 5, just like we did with the last video. What you can see here is some pretty good performance actually. I was quite surprised with this. You could easily get away with playing on 1440p, maybe tweak the settings a bit. Again, this is at ultra settings. We run all the games at ultra settings at each resolution. But with a bit of a tweak, you'd be looking at some pretty good frame rates with the 1066 gig. Of course, you could always run it at 1080 and have an extremely smooth experience. I wouldn't say 720p is worth running, because you can run it at 1080, no problems. Onto Deus Ex, Mankind Divided with MSAA at 8 times. Pretty woeful experience, not something I'd recommend running. We also run the benchmark with MSAA 8 times off, which you'll see in a sec, which provides much more acceptable results considering, 1440p, 7.4 frames average. Not the best, and if we were calculating on that, pretty expensive running that. So if we jump into Deus Ex Mankind Divided without the MSAA times 8, you could easily get away with running it at 1080p, no worries. 1440p would probably be a bit of a stretch, maybe smooth enough to get it over the line. Some people don't mind it at 30 frames per second. Me personally though, I'd prefer to tweak the settings at 1080p and hopefully get 60 frames per second. Alternatively, you could run it at 720p, but again, 1080p would probably be the magic zone. Moving on to The Witcher 3. Had pretty acceptable results all round really. Again, a couple of tweaks to the 1440p settings here and you could easily get away with a smooth experience here. Either that or leave it on ultra and you can run it at 1080p without any worries whatsoever. Also diving into much more acceptable cost per frame. On to Final Fantasy 15. Pretty much the same results as The Witcher. If you dialed down the settings just a little bit, you could probably run it at 1440p without any real dramas. Alternatively, leave it at ultra settings and run it at 1080p without any dramas as well. On to Doom. If you're familiar with Doom, you probably already predicted the results here. 80 frames per second average at 1440p. You're not going to have any dramas there. You may as well run it pretty much at max settings at 1440p without any dramas. Also, I'll tell you what, if you can pick it up second hand for $250, excellent value. On to Wolfenstein 2. Pretty much the same results as Doom. Averaging around 80 frames per second at 1440p, so you could pretty much max this out and have a smooth experience at some pretty good resolution. 1080p, well, you definitely have a smooth experience there on ultra settings, no problems at all. Divinity Original Sin 2, again not a terribly demanding game, seems to be fairly well optimized. And again you can see 1440p easily have a smooth experience, and certainly a very smooth experience at 1080p, no dramas. On to GTA 5. Again we're hitting the CPU bottleneck like we saw in the last video here at both 1080p and 720p. However, at 1440p you could run that and still have an extremely smooth experience, no dramas. but at 1080p I suspect it's probably capable of a little bit more than that if you're running an Intel CPU rather than my Ryzen 7. But either way, smooth all round. Fallout 76 delivered very smooth experience throughout. Even at 1440p, you're getting close to 60 frames per second average, so easily run it on that, no worries. And if I can click on it, Battletech. Again, smooth experience all round. Clearly hit a CPU bottleneck here, so it tips out at about 70 frames per second on my computer. However, 1440p with a bit of a dip, but still an extremely smooth experience with 51.7 average frames per second.
Well, there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed me sitting here drinking water, watching my dad do all the work. And please visit our channel for the next video, which will most likely be on the GTX 1050 Ti.
Declan seems pretty keen to end the video here, but I was just going to say it offers pretty good performance even at brand new price. So like I said, we paid $499 for a brand new back in May 2018. I suspect you'd be able to pick it up for quite a bit cheaper. I think I've seen it brand new for sale for around 380 bucks Australian. But if you can pick it up second hand for $250 Australian, like we saw on Gumtree, you're definitely offered a really, really good experience and pretty much smooth all round. Even at 1440p is quite good. Oh dear. So anyway, would you like to conclude the video now?
Yeah, I just cut what I said in the first place. Check it there.
We're not going to do that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and joining us on this magical journey of us making videos.
My dad's a dick. Bye.